Hey everyone, Harlan Kilstein back here. This one's going to go down in memory. If it's new to you, if it's old to you, we're going to change things up. What a lot of people know or think they know about NLP has a lot to do with eye movements. We've talked about people being visual, people being auditory, people being kinesthetic, in other words, going into those preferred modalities. Well, one way to find out what their preference is to listen to the verbs that they are using. I see clearly. I hear you. Or, this is rubbing me the wrong way for visual, auditory, or kinesthetic feeling verbs. But the eyes have it, as they say. There was a lot of research done at Yale University in the 60s, even some stuff in the 50s, that talked about eye movements. And people would study eye movements during chess, eye movements of fighter pilots. Heck, even today, there are people who study eye movements of what people do when they look at websites. Eye movements give us a fundamental understanding of the way people are thinking, okay? Now, for all the people who think that eye movements are a crock of garbage, if someone showed you eye tracking studies of the way that people looked at a web page, would you ignore them? Of course not. You would build your website based on where people track their eyes. Well, in NLP and all the studies that came before it, they found that when someone is largely visual, their eyes go up like this. Okay? And sometimes, see where I'm lifting my head, they'll lift their head up as well. But not only, sometimes it's just a quick dart up of the eyes. So remember, eyes up, visual. Now, when someone is auditory, their eyes stay in the middle. They may go to the left, they may go to the right, but middle level is auditory. They're hearing things. You can just say that up, visual, middle, auditory, down is feelings, okay? One of the great Charlie Brown cartoons had Charlie Brown walking around with his head down like this, and he was explaining, if you really want to feel badly, you've got to hold yourself like this, because if you pick your head up, then you start feeling better. I want you to pay attention now and notice what people do with their eyes. If you ask them a question that requires visual information, visual recall, do their eyes go up? Chances are they will. What color is your toothbrush? It's blue. What sound does your kid make when they're whining? And your eyes go to the side. How would you feel if someone took toothpicks and stuffed them under your fingernails, and you would go down as you imagined it? What would it be like to jump into an icy cold pool, a pool filled with ice cubes on a hot summer day, and their eyes or their head will move? So I want you to track this stuff over the next period of time and get an idea, because it tells you what modality the person is. Now remember, the whole idea is to come closer to that person, to get more into rapport for that person. If you know that the person is using primarily a visual processing mode, well, putting all of your stuff in auditory is just going to piss them off. If they are primarily in a kinesthetic mode, then putting everything in an auditory mode is just going to piss them off. The conversation is going to miss one another, and that's never good. Okay, So this is one of the biggest teachings of NLP and one of the most understood. This is a piece of information. So what happens after a while is you start noticing the verbs that they're using, and you start noticing the eye movements that people are using, and they're also gestures. Visual people are always talking with their hands. Talk, 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 talk. They're making pictures, they're drawing, they're showing you something. That's a visual person. Auditory people are always on the phone, even when there's no phone. Okay? You can see them. Or auditory people are doing something rhythmic. They're tapping, they're nodding to an internal beat or to a song. Okay? That's their auditory going the whole time. So if you see somebody and they're staring out into space and, you know, they're in their auditory mode, okay? And you don't see this very often. I saw it once on a plane. I thought the woman was broken. She was kinesthetic. She just kept touching herself, like all over the place. You know, I thought she was defective and needed to be returned, but she was like just so in love with her body. And I have met kinesthetic people. They are happiest when you are smearing some kind of goop on them. These are people who would like have a 4-hour massage, get off the table and go, ooh, I could have another massage right about now. They are strongly kinesthetic. So pay attention to what people are doing. Now, this has been one of the biggest contributions of NLP, is letting you know what mode people are in. To make things easy for you, right below this, there is going to be a PDF with lists of words that are associated with visual, auditory, and feeling or kinesthetic. There's also going to be a picture of this eye movement model. And just for the heck of it, I'll even give you some pages about what a person's posture does. All of this is very important, except when you're writing online. And we will discuss that in our next episode. So don't miss it. Be back soon. Did you buy something yet? Okay? If you didn't buy anything, I am going to be pissed at you. Take care.